Welcome to Jade Coloring. My name is Liz. This is a color along in Ladies of Leisure by Zan Von Zed, one of my favorite artists, and I love coloring in these books, so I thought it would be a lot of fun to do a color along this month for, in this book. And it's actually going to be the cover page. It's kind of hard to unsee some of the, colors she used, and I really do want to kind of, at least if anything, do the hair color the same, because I think it looks really, really nice and it'd be fun to try to recreate that. But this page is slightly grayscaled, so I think that will be helpful, when doing her skin especially. And I'm going to be using Prismacolor Premier pencils, and I've tried to limit my pencils for the skin tone, and I think that's mainly what the first part's going to be about, is maybe doing her skin and her hair. So hopefully it doesn't take too long, because I'm going to try to do most of the skin in real time. That way you can kind of see how I achieve, the skin tone when I color. And I'm going to use probably the darkest of the colors are going to be henna and sienna brown, and then my peach, light peach, and then beige sienna and beige. And then I like to pick a nice kind of reddy pink color, sometimes for kind of like just making her cheeks look flushed, or stuff like that. So I'm going to be using magenta. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. These are the colors I'll be starting out with for her skin tone, and I guess we'll kind of zoom in a little closer and get started. I put like a thick piece of this is, I think, Bristol vellum, to kind of protect the page behind this one, and I find that it kind of does help with the layering on the Amazon printed paper. For me, it could not be, it could just be all in my head, but I do like putting that behind there, just any kind of thicker paper. This is light peach. We're going to be starting with a very even layer all over the skin. I'm just kind of keeping toward the back of the pencil and using a very light pressure. It's probably not going to show up too much, but just the smallest amount. And I might leave like the center of her forehead a little bit clear. This is a kind of a smaller page. Well, at least she's a little bit smaller than some of the portraits that I do, so hopefully it won't take too long. And the grayscale really helps with kind of learning where the shadows and the highlights go. Takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it. And I'm just going to focus on like one element of the skin at a time. It's usually how I do it. So I'm just going to start with the face. Okay, have the light layer of peach down. I'm sorry, light peach. I'm going to go in with beige and kind of doing a similar thing, just kind of adding a layer of that and building up a little bit of color onto her skin. and where you can kind of tell that the highlight will be, like the center of the forehead and kind of the center of the nose and like along the cheekbones. I'm going to try to not put as much color. Some of these colors that I picked for this one I don't normally use as much when I'm doing skin tone, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of try to incorporate different colors than the usual. I feel like that's a good first layer. I think I'll probably just start with the forehead, kind of start really shading and adding the colors. I'm going to go in with magenta and just, again, I like starting really light with the colors, so keeping towards the back of the pencil and using just the side of the lid. I'm just going to add the smallest amount of this color in there along the top of the forehead, kind of where the center is and the highlight meets the darker parts of the colors I'm using. Just trying to build up all the colors to how I like them. So I think the next color I want to go in with is going to be beige sienna. It's a really kind of dark, I don't know, it's an interesting color. It's kind of hard to explain it, but I kind of just want to create some shadows. So with a light layer of that, I'm going to start adding this along her hairline where, you know, you would naturally think that shadows would appear on the face. Kind of along the crease of her eye. Next I'm going to go in with Sienna Brown. And I'm kind of making this up as I go, so hopefully it turns out looking alright. I'm just taking this again along the darker areas under the hairline here, along the side of the face. I'm being really light-handed. I'm kind of leaving just the smallest amount of paper showing along the edge of her forehead because I'm kind of picturing like a little bit of a highlight there, kind of because her hair is not quite as over her face. I go in with henna, and I haven't got a replacement, so mine's a little small. Probably the strongest of the colors that I'm using, the real kind of darkest. So I'm going to be really light-handed, building up those shadows. Okay, so I want to add a little bit more of kind of like a peachy tone, so I'm going to go in with peach and start kind of building up the color and bringing it closer to the center. Looks a little weird just doing one part of the face at a time. And you kind of hope that when you get to the end of it, it makes sense together. Gonna go in with beige. Just trying to even everything out and blend it together. I'm not pressing too hard yet because I don't want to smooth everything out yet. Kind of bringing the sienna brown a little bit further down to her jawline. I'm going to go in with beige sienna. Try and brighten things up with a little bit of magenta. I need to find my pencil extender because I feel like I got a little bit of weird marks using the pencil that way. But it's so tiny. It's a well-used pencil, I guess. I was hoping that they would have them. The only place for me to get those open stock is at Hobby Lobby. But of course, they don't carry. I think it's like one of the colors they don't carry. And I use it a lot in portraits. Going back in with peach. This one's also getting pretty little, but I think I do have a extra peach somewhere. Is this it? Yeah, I might switch over to this one just to make life easier. But yeah, I'm always nervous when I'm using different combos for skin, but it's also really fun to experiment and try different things. I know I've spent a really long time on her forehead, but that's just how slow I am especially when it comes to doing the skin. I really take my time. And it is a bit repetitive because I'm just trying to build up those layers. And there are some things that I don't like doing that are really repetitive, but for some reason doing like the skin and like especially the face isn't one of them. It's just fun to build up the colors until you get, you know, kind of transform, you know, the face into looking a little bit more, you know, alive and stuff. And I don't know, I just like it. So I'm gonna go in with beige again. Just kind of layering everything up. Maybe kind of start adding a little bit of the color along the side of the face here. Okay, and then light peach. And I'm still not gonna, like, you know, smooth everything out yet. I'm still kind of holding off till I get closer to being done. I'm just gonna do a light layer over everything. Kind of in circular motions around the center of the forehead. I think that's a good start. I know it took me a while to do that section, and I'm not quite finished with it, but I think, you know, I just wanted to show y'all kind of without bouncing around too much how I slowly build up the color for the skin tone. And I'm trying to use less colors than I normally do, and especially on such a small face, I don't want to add too much to it because then it kind of gets a little lost in all the colors. So I think I want to start with the darkest, one of the darkest colors. We'll go in with sienna brown. I'm going to start kind of on the nose. So I'm going to follow along on the other side of the face, kind of, you know, where I would think it would be pretty shadowy. And then kind of along the crease of the eye. Just trying to bring those features out. A little bit kind of along here. And then using the side of the pencil, kind of going along the other side of the bridge of the nose. You can kind of tell with the grayscale that the center of the nose is really kind of left highlighted. So I'm just going to kind of go along. Adding that color in a little bit at a time. She's got really heavy shadows, which most of her artwork does have some pretty good shadowy under eyelids. So kind of add a little bit of that along there. A little bit over the side of the nose. It kind of looks a little bit shadowy in the center here. Okay, next I want to go in with magenta. Kind of using the side of the pencil, I'm going to go along kind of this cheekbone here. Adding this kind of almost like blush, I guess. And kind of along her cheek here on the outer kind of line, and bringing it down towards the nose. I'm going to go kind of on maybe the center of the nose here, and a little bit on the end of her nose. And then just while I'm at it, and I have this out along the edge of the chin here. So I'm going to go back in with beige sienna. I think she's starting to look a little bit more sort of normal. While I have this out too, I'm going to go along the jawline here, and then making my way where you can kind of see the dark shadow from the grayscale. I'm going to add a good layer of sienna brown along that. And then kind of up under the bottom lip here, I'm going to add a good layer of sienna brown. Kind of all up under around there. And meeting it back again with the kind of the jawline. Okay. Beige sienna. Go along the eye here, and then down the nose. Just building up those shadows. Okay, next, I do want to add peach in there. I don't think I've really done that yet. And you almost don't even need the henna, but kind of might add it in there anyway. Beige. Oh wait, starting in the wrong spot. Go down by the eye here. This is one of my favorite pages in this book, so I was really afraid to start it, but I'm glad I did because I'm having a lot of fun working on it, and doing the color along really gave me the push I needed to start this page. Magenta. And again, just kind of taking this over the cheekbone. Maybe a little bit along the eye here. I just don't want to lose that pink color there. Okay, I think, see, I do want to add a little bit of henna. Not a whole lot, just a little hint of it, kind of along here. And kind of up under the nose here. Maybe kind of along the bridge of the nose. Just trying to make that nose kind of stand out a little bit more. Just to bring that, some of those features forward a little bit, where they kind of look a little dimensional and not so flat. Gonna go along the crease of the eyelid. The same over here. Sharpen it up a little bit more. And adding a little bit on the under eye. I think it's coming along good. I like it so far. So I want to go in with the light layer of light peach. Starting kind of at the brow bone. Along the eye. I kind of did something weird with the pencils at the corner of her eye, but that's okay. It's not too noticeable, and maybe when I burnish everything together and smooth it out, it won't be as prominent. So I'm just going to take the sienna brown And just continue to build up the darker side of her face here. Along the jawline and the cheek. Just kind of really hitting those areas where I feel like the shading of the grayscale is a little bit darker. Using the tiniest bit more pressure, building up those layers because I want it to kind of show up a little bit better. But I think it's finally starting to look like, you know, something's happening, you know, like it's starting to kind of show her features a little bit more. I think I'm going to go with like a purple color, maybe. Well, part purple for like the shading of her lips. And while I'm at it and I have this pencil out, I'm going to add a little bit to the shadow kind of that's under her jawline here onto the neck. Kind of carries down the side. Just kind of adding those shadows, kind of the collarbone. And along her, like the collar of her dress here. Don't forget the ear. I'm going to do a little bit of touching up along the hairline. Beige sienna. Just kind of touching up, again, building up those areas. I feel I need a little bit more, something extra. I think I want to go in with a little bit more magenta and bring kind of a little bit of that red color, kind of make it look a little bit more rosy. Just kind of touching up and being kind of light-handed with it, because, you know, I don't want to put too much of it. Kind of want to put a little down, see how I like it, and then if I feel like it needs more, I'm going to go back in with it. Maybe a little bit kind of on the eyebrow bone here. Just those colors are kind of getting a little kind of mixed together too much. Okay, so this kind of brings out that kind of crease a little bit more, adding that magenta. I think I want to go in with beige, and maybe take that back. Let's go in with peach. Like I said, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. I want to start along the edge of where kind of the darkest shadow is. Just a lot of building up of the colors, going back and forth, you know. As you do it, you get more comfortable with doing skin tone. And I still kind of just make it up as I go along even now, even though I've done several different pictures with people in it. I'm just kind of going back and forth. And then you can see as you go that you want a little more of this color and a little bit more. And I feel like all it is just kind of meeting in the middle of different sectors of the face, which kind of helps me break it down in my brain, I guess, to kind of, you know, if you want to take it a section at a time and just kind of building up the colors. I like to work kind of most of the time darkest to lightest colors. It's just my preference. But sometimes I like to start with like light layer of a base color. It just kind of helps out the shadows and the highlights. I recently got a new like camera setup and a new light, so I'm still kind of learning what a good lighting is, so y'all might have to bear with me. I'm going in with white, very lightly, kind of going over some of those highlights that I want to be pretty bright. Couple on the eyelids. Okay, so peach, light peach. I'm going to start trying to smooth everything out. I don't know if y'all can tell, but there's still a little bit of a graininess to the texture of the pencil on top of the paper. And kind of alternating different directions as I go. But I don't want to spend too much time on her skin or her face in particular. Kind of want to, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes there's only so much I want to do and only so much that the paper will take. I feel like less is more sometimes, and if I get too carried away, then I start kind of getting a little bit unhappy with the outcome because it looks a little too, I start to kind of like pile up, you know, along the edges, especially with the dark colors. It becomes a little more noticeable, and they don't want to blend as well. I'm sure there's some technical term for it, but I just want it to stay kind of even. Going up under the eye. And I'm using pretty good pressure. I'm kind of not all the way to the end, but pretty close to the end of the pencil, and kind of keeping a good steady, even pressure, and going in with circular motion to blend out some of these areas. I thought about going in with peach to do some of the darker, kind of the in-between transition between the darker and the lighter colors, but I think I'm just going to use light peach. I think it's working out pretty good, and don't want to get too many colors going. That might be good to kind of clear it off a little bit, because you don't want to have little like balls of the color or the pigment that comes off the pencil up under that layer of you just put down. I think I will add a touch more sienna brown and maybe henna to the shadows along her face here. I think I'll start with henna. Where did I put that? Wouldn't be a color along if I didn't misplace something. Okay, I found it. So I'm just taking this, sticking to the edge of the face here. Before I do any more blending. Okay, I think that's good. I'm just gonna continue on with the light peach to kind of bring out the colors and smooth them together. Then I'm just going to do a little bit of touching up with the white on the nose here. I think that looks good. Maybe a little bit more on the eyelids and underneath along the bottom of the eyelid. I think I'm going to call that part done, and I'm going to go ahead and pick out the colors to do her lips and then her eye color and then maybe her eyebrows. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to kind of do a, I don't know, like it looks almost like a muted pink color for her hair. But I think that'd be really pretty, because now that I've seen this, I can't think of any other hair color to choose for her. So it should be exciting though, picking those colors out. But yeah, I'm going to get to that, and then we'll kind of work on doing the rest of her skin and arm here, and then her hair. Okay, I'm going to start with her lips and kind of using unconventional colors. I'm going to go in with violet. I'm just kind of outlining the lips a little bit. Kind of adding a shadow. Just kind of in the center of her lips. And then I'm going to go in with magenta. And I still wanted to keep with kind of the same colors that I used for kind of adding the blush and stuff. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this new light, and I'm trying to make it where not only y'all can see, but I can see. I was having trouble seeing what I was doing in this little area. So I'm just going to take the magenta, and I'm just kind of adding this over the violet. And outlining the lips at the same time. Sorry guys, I had to let my dog in and out. She thought she wanted to be in here with me, and then she decided pretty much instantly as soon as I sat down that she didn't. Hope this isn't like too bright. The lips look really, really bright. Oh, that was magenta. I forgot to put the tag for it. Sorry. And now I'm going back in with violet. I want to try to tone everything down a little bit with blush pink. See how that goes. I think this is the darkest lip color I've ever done. And I usually try to make them look a little bit more natural sometimes. Maybe I've done red. Go in with white. Kind of along the top here, the bottom. I think I'm going to just leave it at that for now. If I want to go back in later and kind of touch up, I might have to do, sometimes some things require you to get like really close up and personal with whatever it is you're working on, because sometimes like just the slightest little direction of like that facial feature kind of eludes me from far away and have to kind of really get in there and see. But I think, you know, I'm pretty much got that done, kind of mapped it out a little bit. And the next thing, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the eyebrows and kind of get those going. And now I want to do her eyes green, and I thought about purple actually, but then I didn't want there to be too much purple going on, so I think green would be a nice little offset of those colors, and then the kind of reddish orangey pink hair. But we'll see. I think I'm gonna put chestnut in there as my darkest color. It's a nice kind of reddish brown color. And then for the next color, I'm trying to decide between, we got rosy beige, and then I also picked out pink rose. It's a real, and then pink. I think I might add and keep pink, the rose pink, or no, this is blush pink, around to kind of brighten up parts of the hair. But I think I'm just going to work with these three colors and then go from there and see how I like it. The darkest color, I definitely like to go darker with the eyebrows. So I'm going to go in with chestnut. And I just like kind of starting at the bottom. I don't remember if I said I was going to work on the eyes or the eyebrows just now, but either way, I just jumped right into the eyebrows. I guess I was excited about trying out these colors. Okay. Then kind of start outlining this brow, and I kind of do little flecks of hair along the front of the brow. And as I get to the back, they kind of change directions going that way to the side. They don't have to be perfect. Okay, so rosy beige. Go in with that. And then I kind of want to brighten things up, so I think I will go in with blush pink. Kind of there along the top of the brow. I know it doesn't look like much, but hopefully we can make it look a little bit better. Because I'm really just kind of making this up as I go, because I had no idea how to do this kind of dusty pink hair color. So let's go back in with chestnut. Okay, so I want to frame it out a little bit more, start making it look a little more hair-like. Do little hair strands at the top, and then using quite a bit of pressure along the bottom. Guess we're giving her some really big old eyebrows. Same thing here. Start with and some noticeable line, you know, along the brow here. Going in with rosy beige, just kind of adding that to the bottom, making it not so dark and kind of blending it together. And then blush pink, give it a sharpen. Maybe I can get some tinier hair-like strands going. I really didn't intend to spend this long on these eyebrows, but sometimes once you start, you just gotta want to get it how you want it. And sometimes that takes a few layers. Just kind of going back in, trying to add a little bit more hair-like strands. I think I like that. I think it looks good. And when I have the chestnut out, I do want to go, I'm going to be kind of working on her eyes next. I want to go underneath this waterline here with the chestnut. Just a tiny bit of that along there, just to make the waterline kind of stand out. And so next I'm going to go in with Crimson Red, and I'm going to be adding this kind of along the waterline here, just very gently. Dragging that along there. You could do a little bit more in the corner of the eye and kind of closer to the iris. And then, you know, maybe like a little dot along the kind of corner of the, I guess, the duct of the eye, you know, where you normally have like a good red dot there. And then same thing over here. Okay. So the next color I like to go in with when I do the eyes is a gray. And for this I wanted to use 30% warm gray. And make sure it's nice and sharp, because this is a tiny little area, and I'm trying to get in with like the top here and just dragging that color down. And this here, just dragging that down. Just trying to make it kind of stand out a little bit. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is go in with white. Again, you want it to be real sharp. Have a pretty good point, and don't, you know, be like me sometimes. Make sure that is cleaned off from the last time you used it. And so then I'm just gonna start at the bottom, lightly kind of add that around the eye, just the white, like the white part of the eye. And then a little bit along the waterline here. And then doing the same thing over here. A little bit along the waterline. Trying not to get too much of it on the iris. And that's what I do for the whites of the eyes. Don't know if you could see it, but they are very tiny eyes, so. I guess I'll go in with, maybe let's go ahead and try to start with her hair before I decide on what colors I want to do her eyes. Okay, the darkest color is chestnut, and I like to start with the darkest color. And I like to work in sections at a time. She kind of got a little bit of a wave going at the top of her head. So I'm going to try to recreate that. Working in small sections. Then we'll kind of add another section down here. And then rosy beige. just the tiniest bit of this to kind of add a good transition color between the darkest and the lightest color. Just kind of smooths out the edges. This is it's turning into an interesting hair color. I'll have to kind of write down this combo because I kind of like it. So, do I want to go in with rose pink or blush pink? Rose pink is quite a bit, well, pink rose. I don't know why I keep saying rose pink. Is a little bit more muted, and then your blush pink is quite a bit stronger. I think, would it be crazy to try both? Let's just do this tiny little section here around the lower part of it. So I think I want to go in with the brightest one first. Add this along there. And then maybe rose pink. Pink rose. Sorry guys. I was going to use white, but maybe this pink rose will work good for kind of a highlight. And then maybe you could do just a little bit with the white to kind of really make it seem kind of shiny. I don't know. It's kind of I like that though, actually. I think I'm going to keep on with that. Blush pink. Kind of go along the edge of the hair. Go in with pink rose, a little bit in the center, and then maybe still go in with white because it's just habit of mine. I always go, not always, but especially when I'm working with lighter hair color, go in with the white. I think it looks good. And we really did kind of manage to get that to look a little bit wavy. Chestnut. Working on another section, starting at the top. It's a little bit harder to tell. I do try to just kind of follow the grayscale in the hair, kind of where it kind of shows up, so where I put my darkest color. Okay, so I gotta make a decision. I guess we'll say darker color here, and then because it's just like a little bit bigger of a strand or section. I don't know, hopefully it don't look weird when I'm done. Rosy beige. My dog's snoring. Okay. Blush pink. I think I'm going to skip using pink rose. Just go in with blush pink. Just kind of brightens it up a little bit, and I like that. And I'm just going to go in with white after this and blend everything together. Got white. I like how it's coming out. It's not quite as red as the cover is, but I'm also not mad at it. I think it's kind of tying together really nicely with all the other colors. So I'm pretty excited to continue working on the hair. I'm going to continue to work on her hair. I have the colors that I think pretty decided on using are the chestnut, rosy beige, blush pink, and white. That way I can, you know, kind of get going a little bit faster. I decided not to put, I know I was kind of on the fence about using, I think it was rosy pink maybe. I decided to skip that, you know, and have one less step in the process. But I did do, you know, this section, so I'm going to do a little bit more of this section and a little bit of the braid, and then over here as well on camera, and then probably do the rest off camera. So I'm going to start with chestnut, which is the darkest of the colors that I chose for the hair, and just kind of again figuring out where I want the section to kind of begin and end, mapping it out a little bit. But I'm actually getting to film during the day, so I'm not used to there being so much sunlight coming in, and so I hope that that's not kind of getting too much on the page. A little bit of the darker color kind of around her ears. Her ear, there's just one showing in this one. But this hair is quite a bit different than the original plan. That one is definitely a lot more of a red tone. But I actually, I'm glad I kind of mixed it up a little bit. But I didn't actually like try out the colors really before I went in too much. So I just kind of making a good guess of what I thought might be similar. I think it worked out in the end. And I like the blush pink versus the rosy pink because it's just a little bit brighter. It really kind of brightens it up. I guess it's pink rose. That was the other color I was kind of deciding whether or not to add into the combination. And I'm just going to use white to kind of blend everything together, and at the same time try to create like a highlight. So I want to work on a section of the braid. Work on this top one here, and I'm just going to outline that part of the braid, maybe bring a few of the darker strands, you know, all the way through the center. Kind of just go over it with the rosy beige, and then finally, before I add the white, I'm going to go in with pink, blush pink. And then white right in the center. And forgive my little bandage job. I had an accident with the paper cutter, which I've never done before. I don't know how it happened. Probably because, you know, I lost an hour of sleep because of the time change. But it wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse, I guess. But I have that. So we're going to do another part of the braid just to kind of show you again, because that was real quick. Kind of do up here, outline around the edges. I might go follow through with a strand of hair there. We got rosy beige, blush pink, finally white, and if you want to do a little bit of touching up with the chestnut, you know, bring a little bit more color back in and depth, and also kind of quick little flicks to kind of create the illusion of the strands of the hair. Might as well do another section while we're at it. I need to work on my new tags that I want to print out. I might do some of that today. but be careful when I use my paper cutter. Dropping pencils. But yeah, I've been having some fun coloring this page. I'm so glad I finally am doing this one because it's definitely been on my I want to color list for a while. It's just a beautiful page. And take in the white. And then going back in with chestnut, I do want to kind of go up under here where the hairs are, the like braid sections are meeting, because that's going to be, you know, naturally a little bit darker. Because I want it to kind of separate a little bit more. So if I go in with the darker color, it'll bring that out a little bit more. So I guess I'll do a little bit on this side of the face as well. Starting with chestnut. I'm going to go ahead and with the chestnut and where the hair kind of is kind of turned underneath, I want it to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going to add that dark color up under the hair there, alongside her face. So once again, I'm going to start kind of at the hairline where the part of the hair is. Pick out a little section. I'm going to try to make it look crimped, you know, where like the waves are kind of at. Going in with rosy beige. Only room for the slightest amount of that blush pink. And then before going in with the white, I'm going to kind of do a little bit more with these colors first. So hopefully this turns out okay. It's always different approaching, you know, different parts of the hair because it's shaped differently. So sometimes it takes a minute to get back into, you know, the process. Oh, sorry. Pink rose. And going over top with white, mainly in the middle part, just very lightly. I think that's looking pretty good. With chestnut, kind of bringing that up. And then maybe kind of start and stop right there. Rosy beige. I hope I haven't been using pink rose tag this whole time. Okay, I need to put the pink rose tag far away from here because I keep seeing pink and I grab that. Okay, so this is blush pink. I'm really not trying to confuse y'all. White going over top. And then touching up with a little bit more of that chestnut. Probably should have not covered that up with chestnut, but that's okay. Rosy beige. Using the right card, blush pink. White. Kind of go over the edge here. Then chestnut. Show you how I'm going to do the hair that's kind of behind her back. It's peeking, you know, through this little window in between her chin and shoulder. And I always make these sections a little bit darker because, you know, it's kind of, I assume what would be darker naturally behind the back. Just a little. Make sure I'm outlining the chin and, you know, this little section of the neck pretty good. Don't want to get that up onto her face after, you know, we've already done her face. So we got rosy beige going in with that, just the tiniest bit. Blush pink. I'm going over the whole thing with the blush pink and then white. And I feel like I need to go back in with the chestnut. then maybe one more pass with the blush pink. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. That's all I'm going to do with her hair. I think it's turning out really nice. I do want to kind of work on her, the rest of her skin, get that done, and see kind of how that goes. I'm going to start kind of up under her neck here. I'm going to go in with henna. I'll find a good place to put that. And I'm just going to darken up along the jawline here. This also would have been a good color to use for the hair. I may not use too much of it because it does really match the hair, the chestnut in there. And then sienna brown. Just going over that places we just went with the henna. Really where the shadow is going to be. Kind of up under the hand, along the collar of her dress. And I might leave a little bit of the neck without too much of the darker colors on there. That way it can kind of be a highlight. Same with this little section of her shoulder. Beige sienna. I want to kind of brighten things up. I'm going to go in with magenta. And just using the side of the pencil, kind of go in the center here, along her shoulder. Very light layer of that. And go in with beige. I'm just going to start adding it's hard to refrain from going back and touching up her face, but it's faster if I just focus on this one thing that I'm working on. And you know, when I first finished her face, I was thinking that I didn't really like it, but after I've kind of taken a minute and kind of taken a break from coloring this page, I actually think it's fine, you know. I think it's turning out really nice. But sometimes you just need to walk away from whatever it is you're coloring and take a minute and then go back to it when you kind of maybe feel more in the mood to color. At least it happens to me quite a bit. I think I'm going to do the collar. There's probably a name for that, but we're just going to say this top part of her dress here, yellow, I was thinking. I think that would be really pretty. Going back in with Sienna Brown. A little bit more shading. I think that's going to be the last pass of Sienna Brown I go in with. And I'm going to go back in with beige. Just doing a little bit more blending, kind of making a nice transition of all those colors. That way I can go in and smooth everything out, add the highlight. I think I do want to go in with peach. That way, you know, going from those beige colors to the light peach, it'll kind of be maybe hopefully a little more seamless. I'm going to just go ahead and start kind of adding a little bit of pressure there and the strands of hair where the neck is showing, kind of along some of those sides. Kind of going further down on the pencil. And just finish everything with light peach. Kind of make it simple, you know. I'm going to start kind of along the neck here. Do want to kind of go over the edge of her jaw just a little. Kind of the edge of her face a little bit. Just to make sure everything's staying, you know, nice and even and not getting lost in all the other features. Okay, I'm gonna leave her face alone. we're working on the neck. So I'm going to just continue to blend. Work on this part of the shoulder and make my way down. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do for the neck and chest area. As I go back to blend out some more. But okay, I think that's good. So now all I have to do is her arms, and then we'll be done with the skin color. So I did finish up her hair. I made a mistake with working on her hair. I was doing it in the living room and it was kind of dark in there, and I didn't realize I wasn't grabbing, I think it was chestnut is what I meant to grab, and somehow I ended up grabbing like sienna brown. So the back parts have a little bit, I didn't do too many strands, but I definitely did this section back here, and I tried to make it look like to match the rest of it, but I think it turned out okay. But it was just one of those things where I wasn't paying attention. So, but the hair's done, you know, and I think when it's all said and done with, it probably won't be super noticeable, hopefully, but things like that do happen, you know. But I'm going to finish up her skin and do her arm here, and I guess I've decided that this little slit in the dress, I guess, is going to be part of her leg, so I'll have to remember to do that part as well. So I'm going to work on the arm, and I'm going to start out with henna, and trying to remember there's like a little bit of her arm showing on the part of the dress here, and just in those really shadowy areas I'm going to add the henna. Hope one of my lights aren't flickering. I'm just taking this along the edges. You know, this is partly grayscaled, you know, so you have a pretty good idea where the shadows are going to be. I finally had to break out the pencil extender for the henna. It makes me kind of sad because this is the one color they don't keep at open stock at my Hobby Lobby. So I tried to make it last as long as I could, but I think it's about time for me to go. I guess I'll have to go online and order it. It's just one of those well-loved colors I use for a lot of the portraits and stuff and skin tones. Just trying to separate the fingers out a little bit. I think I'm going to go in with rosy beige. And I'll be honest, it's been a good minute since I worked on this. It's taking a lot longer than I anticipated to finish this one up. I don't know, sometimes I just have to be kind of in the mood to want to color, especially on camera. And so I just haven't been getting around to it lately. But I really like this page, and I do want to finish it up. It's been fun so far what I worked on. I'm really pleased with how, except for my little bit of a mess up with her hair, I'm pretty pleased with how it's coming out so far. So if the process of the skin tone is a little bit different on this arm, hopefully I still make it look like it matches the rest of her. Then that is probably the reason, because it's been a couple weeks since I worked on it. I was just gonna do both arms, but then I thought that I should show y'all, since it's kind of a, you know, different approach, you know, to doing this different section. So I wanted to make sure I shared it with y'all on the color along. Okay. I've got a lot of pinks going on, so I want to bring in a little bit of a brown tone, and I'm going to use burnt ochre, sorry guys, and kind of add that color in there, get a little bit of a different tone going, really deepen those shadows up. I think it's coming out good. Add a little bit of that, kind of separating get the fingers, you know, separated so they don't look like one big area. Or don't look like they're kind of weird. Sometimes I do kind of make the hands look a little weird. I don't mean to, but they're a tricky thing to color sometimes. I think I make them look a little bit like wide, or I don't know, just not really shapely sometimes. So I got that color, and I want to go in with peach. That's not peach. There we are. I'm just kind of trying to blend things together, get the skin tone to be a little more lifelike. But I know I've been going kind of back and forth between like all kinds of different types of color alongs, but I don't know, it kind of keeps me from doing more of them because I don't know if anybody really likes to watch them, and you know, sometimes I feel like there's too many parts, or you know, the video might be a little too long if I do like a time lapse. So I'm still really trying to figure out exactly how I like to do color alongs. Sorry, I got sidetracked trying to make sure I was doing this the right way. But anyway, my point is, I love doing color alongs, but I'm a little intimidated by them. They do take quite a bit of work, and like I've said before, I'm pretty slow at coloring. So it always takes me a good while to do the page that I picked out, and I feel like I've gotten better since, you know, like a year ago or so, but I don't know, I just struggle with the right way to edit them, and so I've decided to do one big long video where I just show you in real time what I'm doing, and that way there's not so many parts to go with it, and I can really, you know, post it all at once instead of just in several different videos. So, and that way I can just kind of come back to it off and on and work on it and then edit it all at once. So I'm gonna give that a try and see how it works. Maybe I'll find a good way of doing it for me. This is peach beige. I just want to kind of add this in there a little bit. I know I used beige, I'm pretty sure, because you can kind of tell. I don't remember if it's peach beige or not. Sorry, okay, I'll leave stuff alone. I always go back to kind of see something that I feel like I need to fix. So I definitely want this color in there so it'll match like the rest of the other parts of her. So just kind of building up these colors. I don't want to spend all day on it. Definitely gonna have to go back in and touch up with some parts around her hand. But I feel like we're getting there. I definitely need to learn how to, you know, get a good rhythm going and, you know, just color a little bit faster. But as y'all probably could guess, I get really kind of critical. This is rosy beige, and so I could kind of overthink the color along. So I'm trying not to do that, just kind of go with it. But it's definitely going to be a long video, and if you made it this far, that's pretty cool. And I guess, you know, if you just want to let me know, what's your favorite type of color along? Like, how do you like to follow along? Honestly, and I don't know if I'm repeating myself at all because it's been a couple weeks since I've sat down to color in this specific one, but I honestly don't really have a specific way I like to watch color alongs. I don't really follow along that much, but I do like to see the process and, you know, to kind of see how the combos and the color combos lay, you know, out or blend together, and how whoever's doing the coloring approaches different, you know, specific things like backgrounds or, you know, clothing or the skin. I just like watching it come to life, you know, and to see the finished product, you know, the finished page. So I don't know, just that's what I like to do. So I'm trying not to overthink the whole color along thing and just create something fun, and if whoever wants to watch it, you know, takes a little something from it, I'm happy. This is henna again. I just want to add a little more shading, especially kind of around here. I feel like it's kind of hard to see the shape of the fingers, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more shading along there and down here. Just a lot of going back and forth. I'm going to go back in with burnt ochre. But yeah, so I guess that's my tangent for this filming session here. Kind of underneath the fingers a little bit to create like a little bit of more of a shadow, hopefully. And then I'm going to go in once more with, I think, yeah, we're going to do peach beige. Just kind of looking between, like, you know, what I've done, and hopefully not make her hands look weird. Kind of going up under there too, smooth things out. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to end this part with peach and light peach. I'm going to like to use the peach, either peach or nectar, it depends. As kind of like a final pass in the darker shades, you know, to kind of smooth them out and kind of bring all those colors together, and then I'll kind of go with more of the highlight color with the light peach to kind of smooth out the center parts of the sections. But just to kind of bring everything together. I feel like I try to sit down, like when I'm getting started, I try to situate everything on my desk, but I feel like every time I sit down there's like a pencil or a paintbrush, something's like making a racket. But yeah, this is an Amazon printed book, so the paper can only take so much. And I feel like with, at least, especially in my older books like this, I don't know if the paper ever changes in newer books, but I've really found a good, for the most part, like a good amount of like layering and blending. Kind of learn how I like to work with it. But then for some reason I've really been struggling with some of the PDFs I print out. I haven't been finding a really good paper to work with. And weirdly enough, the paper I have been printing on has been like a pastel colored paper. Like, I'll show y'all. This is one I did the other day. I printed out on this like pink color, and that one actually turned out really nicely. But I don't know, there's been like some where I've actually threw away a PDF that I started on because I was so frustrated with it. It just was not working right. So sometimes it definitely takes a little bit of a learning curve for different types of paper and stuff. And some of the Coloring Heaven papers too have been a lot of trouble for me. I feel like this pencil's being weird. Okay, I think that's looking really good. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm gonna finish up her arm with light peach. Kind of start in that little part that's showing there, and then kind of start in the middle and work my way out along the edge here. I think I found the paintbrush that was making the noise. And y'all probably can't even hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of clear it off a little bit. But yeah, just making my way around the whole arm. Smoothing all those colors together. And using a pretty good medium pressure. Oops. Alright, we got that arm done. But it's just a lot of, you know, layering and blending until you get it kind of how you like it. I kind of am going back and forth on what color to do her dress. It is hard to not kind of remember the colors she used on the cover, but they are like kind of toned down, you know. It's a little hard to tell exactly what color it is, but I was thinking about using periwinkle and then light cerulean blue, and then blending those out with a cloud blue, and hopefully that will look good. So I guess that's what we'll get started on next. These are the colors I'm going to use for her dress, and I think I'm going to start with the darkest color, which is just my preference, especially when working with clothes. And I think that would be periwinkle. So we're going to start with one of her sleeves first. And kind of see how it all looks together. Hopefully it turns out good. And just kind of outlining kind of along this little loop here and along the bottom part of the sleeve. Just kind of mapping out where I want kind of the deeper kind of folds to be in her black dress here. And I feel like it'd be naturally shadowy along her hair, where her hair is laying across. I feel like periwinkle is one of those colors I don't reach for very often, but it's very pretty. Okay, I think that's a good start with the periwinkle. So then I'm going to go in with light cerulean blue. And just kind of, it's going to be kind of a small area to work with, but I want to kind of take this along the edge of this like hemmed or loop part here, and then kind of down the bottom. And hopefully this dress doesn't end up looking like blue jeans, but if it does, that's okay. It'd be kind of cool. So just kind of taking this along the edges of where I left off with the periwinkle. And go back in with periwinkle. Okay, I'm gonna start going on with cloud blue and seeing how it's turning out. I think there's like a little button on the bottom part here, so I'll try not to cover that up. It's really tiny. Kind of go along the edge here. Using a pretty good medium pressure. Just gonna go start in the middle, kind of where we left that highlight, and then working my way around, going in circular motions. Yeah, I think that turned out really nice. I like it. It's a nice, pretty, like light blue. But yeah, I just gotta do the rest of her dress. I guess we'll work on this part of the chest here. Got like a collar. I don't know what color did. Kind of looks gray. Maybe I'll do that white. I had briefly considered coloring that part yellow, but I'm not sure about that. There's just something about yeah, Zon von Zed's. I always have to look back at the name because I get it confused, but something about her clothing that she draws, it's just so beautiful. It's one of my favorite things to color, especially when I kind of don't have an idea of what I want to color. If I just kind of pick out one of her books and go with it, I really enjoy. It always kind of gets me excited about coloring again when I'm kind of having a moment of not coloring. But they're just so beautifully drawn and fun. They really make, you think about using unusual color combos and stuff. Okay, so I got the periwinkle down. I'm going to go in with light cerulean blue. And, just doing the same thing, just different sections. You can kind of, go all the way through, add whatever colors you want at a time, or just like this, do little sections. It just depends. Sometimes I do, lay down the color on the entire dress that I like, the light cerulean blue, and then go on with the next one. But especially when I'm first starting, I like to kind of make sure, that I kind of have an idea of how I want the colors to lay down. Sometimes it might need a little bit of kind of tweaking before you commit to certain colors. I definitely want to go back in with periwinkle and darken up some areas. And then I'll probably just go in with cloud blue. Kind of want to add it a little bit darker where her hand's kind of covering or coming across her chest there. Then also where this section of the buttons are. And then kind of underneath her chest here. Add a little bit extra shadow. And then maybe a little extra shadow along here. Cloud blue. I'm gonna start kind of along here. This will also be a good color for a sky too. Good colors for the sky. Alright, I think that's all I'm going to do for that part. Kind of work on a section of buttons here. I'm just going to do the same thing, and it's going to definitely take kind of a sharp pencil to kind of get in this little area, because you got to go around the buttons, which I don't know what color I'm going to do those yet. And then you have to, you know, follow along that little ribbon like section almost. But just kind of try my best. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Maybe I'll just use 2 colors. Let's see how that looks. Because I want it to look a little bit more like raised from the rest of the dress. So then give it a nice highlight with the cloud blue. And then might do a little bit of touching up, you know, as I go work on the rest of the dress with the periwinkle to kind of really separate that out from the rest of the dress. But yeah, it is a good question what color I should do these tiny little buttons. I feel like I always go for gold or silver, but I don't know. I'll have to think on that one as I continue. But yeah, I'm really liking how this is turning out. It is a lot more to it than I thought originally when I started this page, but they pretty much always are, if I'm honest. And of course I don't make it easy. I'm always got to be a little bit extra. But yeah, so many good pictures in this one. But yeah, I'm going to keep on working on the dress. I'll probably kind of bounce around a little bit with y'all, and we'll work on maybe like different section here. Like right here, you know, it's kind of got a little bit of a fold. Kind of start on that one with periwinkle, really kind of separate. Just got like a fold up here. there are some like faint, is it called like bokeh background or bokeh? I don't know. It's where like, you know, you have the blurry like circles or lighter kind of circles. Maybe that's what's going on down at the bottom, because it kind of, well, y'all probably can't see it, but like the grayscale has like little circles on it. So I don't know quite how I'm gonna approach that yet, but hopefully I can come up with something. Okay, so I got the crease, or the parts of the crease of the fold going with the periwinkle. Then I'm going to go in with light cerulean blue. Just adding a little bit of that. And finally, cloud blue. And then hopefully it kind of looks like the fabric is kind of folded there. And the part down here, it's really probably going to be a little bit darker than the rest of the dress, so I'm really going to go in with a lot more of the periwinkle. Kind of just cover the whole thing up with that, and then really adding a pretty heavy layer of that along the edge here. And take this one, go in, and then maybe a little bit of cloud blue, tone it down a little bit more. But that's probably all I'm going to do for that part. I do think that's a leg, right? I don't know. Sometimes you just kind of have to, you know, go with it. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this dress, and then we'll probably move on to doing the background, which, you know, and the mushrooms and the ladybug and flowers. I'm really excited about working on those. I kind of have a rough idea of what I want to do. I know I've been trying to not just use red colors for the mushrooms. So it'll be interesting to come up with a color for those. I'm thinking kind of like an aquamarine, like light green color for these main mushrooms. And I don't know, I was thinking maybe yellow for the flowers. I don't know what kind of flowers they are, so I'm not going to try and, you know, make them realistic looking. And just a little bit of greens and maybe like a really nice like gray green background. But just kind of talking out loud, still trying to figure it out. But yeah, so far so good, I think. Okay, I got the rest of her dress done, and I want to start on the mushrooms because there are quite a few mushrooms to get done. And I thought it would be fun to add a pop of like purpley pink color on like these smaller mushrooms. It's hard not to unsee, you know, the original, or at least what she's colored in for the cover. Those are pretty deep red, but I'm gonna try going for like a nice purpley pink color, I guess, with the Dahlia purple and processed red and hot pink. And so that's what I'm going to be using, at least for the top part of the mushroom. So I'm going to start with the purple color and kind of go from there. Maybe start on this top mushroom here. I'm just going to take this color and lightly go over the whole mushroom, avoiding those kind of circular shapes. Those will probably be white. And I might just go in with like a Posca pen, or I think I recently bought some new Sharpies. Yeah. Got these new white Sharpie markers that are kind of like paint pens, but they're different than a Posca. They don't make like they don't have the ball in there that moves around when you shake it up. I thought about using that for those. We'll try it out. This is a purple color that I don't really use very often. But I plan on trying to incorporate lots of greens for the background. So I really like the combo of purple and green. I don't know why. It's a nice one. You got the ladybug sitting up on this mushroom. But this color along has been like a month or more, not a month, but like months process. I don't know why, I just haven't been doing a very good job sitting down and coloring for it. Okay, it's a good start, and I need a... Why can I never find a pencil extender when I need one? Well, that's okay. This, I think hot pink is getting a little bit too small. And somehow I wasn't paying attention and sharpened the end of it. I don't know how I did that, but it, you know. Have processed red. I'm just gonna take that around there. Kind of keeping to the edge. Working my way around these little circular areas. I did a Mr. Froggerty page by R.J. Hampson, and there was mushrooms on there, and I think I used purple for those as well. This is going to look very similar to her hair, but a little bit more purple in tone than her pink, like rosy gold color hair. Kind of feel like the shadows are a little bit heavier on this side, so I'm using a little bit more of this dark purple in those areas, kind of at the top and around the side where it kind of runs up around her shoulder here, and kind of underneath the ladybug and above it. I think that looks really cool. So, I think I'm going to leave well enough alone and just go in with hot pink to kind of finish up the mushroom. It is tiny because I was unprepared and sat down without my pencil extender. I think I just found one. It's holding this polychromos pencil. I only have a couple, so they do get misplaced a lot, unfortunately. I'm not very good at putting pencils in there either. Okay, so this is the hot pink. At least I think it's getting to the point where it's hard to make out the number as well. I'm just going to take that lightly, start kind of a few highlighted areas along the edge of the mushroom here. And I'm going to take that and add that to those, and kind of in the center with a medium to light pressure. I really do love this combo. I wasn't sure if I'd like these colors together. I think it looks super cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and try out this new Sharpie paint pen. It's got a pretty small applicator there. I'm gonna get a paper to try it out on. Let's just use one of these little markers. It says shake well before using, so I'm gonna give it a good shake. This is, yeah, Sharpie Creative Marker. Oh wow, that's pretty. It's going pretty good. So I'm gonna just go over these areas, try and follow the shape. I don't know. I'm not sure what these are called, what you would call these things, but you know, the white spots on some mushrooms. I'm not being too perfect with it, just kind of. Okay, I think that's the only ones I see. And I gotta let that dry. Now, it's hard to tell what part of the mushroom is showing, because it's getting to be a little bit harder to comprehend what's going on in this background. Whoa there, careful closing that. Let me kind of glance back to her picture. we'll say that that was going to be a small part of the mushroom, kind of up under here. It doesn't really look like it's part of the flower to me. So I'm going to go in with 50% French gray. And then maybe peach beige and cream, and see how those look together. And I'll try and find one that shows a bit of the stem or the part of the mushroom. So we've got peach beige, 50% French gray, and cream. We'll see how these all look together. I like starting out with the darkest. And it's kind of hard to see, you know, exactly what's what. But I'll just kind of make it up as I go along here. Barely using very much of one color, you know, so. And then lastly, cream. Just kind of add that over the whole thing. And hopefully it looks okay. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. So there's still a few of those types of mushrooms. Let's go ahead and find one. Let's do this one down here at the bottom. Just do one more with this purple pink color combination. Find a good place to put this. I don't know where. Okay, right there. Okay, so starting out with the purple. Like the focus was being weird for a minute. I've got a new tripod and I'm able to bring the camera in a little bit closer without just zooming, and it's kind of hard to figure out what I'm doing, of course, as always, but I'm trying to make it where y'all can see good, but then I'm always like self-conscious that it's not like focusing very good. But I'm sure it's fine. Can't tell. I don't like that part of that mushroom. I think that is part of the flower. So going in with processed red. Adding this to the mix here. Hot pink, and take this around the edge. And then just over the whole thing. I think a little bit more of this part of the mushroom showing. Trying to see. It's kind of hazy, but I'll figure it out. Taking 50% French gray. Just kind of coloring it in. May look weird, I don't know, because it's really hard to tell what's what in this picture. But that's kind of, you know, part of the fun. Just kind of figuring out what goes with what sometimes. I'll probably just leave that alone. It looks good. It's nothing too fancy, but I think it'll do. So then I'm taking that white Sharpie creative marker and just doing the same thing, going over these areas that I want to be white. And that's it. So we got 2 mushrooms down, several more to go. And I think the next mushroom I want to work on is probably the main one that kind of is the biggest mushroom in this picture. So yeah, we're gonna get started on that one. Okay, I got pale sage. This is honestly one of my favorite Prismacolor green colors. Just very pretty. I'm gonna go over the whole thing with this, focusing on the middle, and then kind of going over the top edge of the mushroom. Just toning down everything and blending it all together. I think it looks really good. I like it. So I'm gonna go in with the, yeah, let's go in with the gray green light. Add a little bit of that. I'm just gonna keep on building up the colors and then going in with the pale sage to blend everything together. And brighten up everything a little bit more with apple green. I want to say green apple, but it's apple green. I don't know if I've been saying just green apple or not. Just a light layer of this just kind of brings everything, ooh, almost went into her collar. Just brightens everything up, you know. So pale sage. Going over the top of the mushroom here. Had to hunt down my little brush here. I think that looks really good. I like it. Okay, now for the challenging part is what on earth am I gonna do with that part? I think I want to go for a darker green, kind of up under the mushroom here. And I'm gonna try to make it a little bit darker looking by using 50% French gray for like a shadow. And there are lots of like little like lines and ridges going on, so I'm gonna try my best to keep that detail intact, but we'll see. I think that still is keeping a lot of the detail intact, and gotta find a dark green color. Let's just go on with dark green and try and add that in there. Then I might go in with pale sage to blend it all together. I'm going to go in with dark green. And just kind of start adding this along the edge, kind of lightly. I hope this doesn't look weird when I get done. Okay. And just try and blend it all out with pale sage. Just gonna go over it pretty lightly. And see what happens. I think it looks good. I don't want to do too much to it because maybe do a little touching up with, let's go with French gray. Because that's that'll kind of darken it up without overpowering parts of the mushroom, because the green can really stand out sometimes. So I pulled out a few colors for the like the stem part of the mushroom, and very similar to what I've been doing, but maybe using a little bit more of like a brown tone in there. And I might go in with a green tone as well to kind of make it look like it belongs with this green mushroom. I'm gonna start with the darkest one, French gray. Had to fix the tripod. I'm so nervous using the new tripod because I feel like it's taking a lot of getting used to. So I'm gonna kind of start adding, this part looks pretty shaded, you know, from the grayscale. So it's gonna get a lot of that French gray color. Kind of running that through there. Okay, and then I think peach beige, and good color to start with next. Just kind of adding this in there. A little more touching up with the French gray. And beige. Then brighten up a little bit of this color. We're going to go in with cream. a little bit of pale sage just to really bring the green tones back into this so it's not so different, I guess. Kind of looks like it's incorporated together a little bit better, I guess. Yeah, I just like to have that little green tone in there as well. I think it works. And there might be a little bit of this showing kind of down further onto the page. So kind of in this area here, maybe we'll try to add a little bit of this down there. Can't tell. Maybe. It's really hard to kind of figure out what's what at this point, or when you get into all of the mushroom areas and the flowers, but I'm gonna try to make it work. Just kind of adding the tiniest hint of each color down here as well. A little bit of beige. I think I'm going to skip cream and just go straight in with the pale sage. Smaller areas, so I got to do a little sharpening to get this in there. But yeah, really like how that mushroom turned out. It's better than I thought it would turn out. It's looking super cute. Kind of feel like her, hey, there is something in there that's making like a noise. I guess I wasn't shaking it as hard. I feel like her buttons need a little attention, so I'm just gonna make them white. And because it kind of got colored over. That kind of looks cute. So far I really like this Sharpie paint marker. It's pretty pigmented. I think there's one up here too. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I want to work on her eyes. Now I wanted to go with kind of a blue-green color. And it is pretty hard to see the eyes. They're very little. I'm gonna go with peacock green and then muted turquoise blue. They may look weird together, I don't know, but it's fun to try something kind of different. So I'm gonna start with the peacock green and just kind of try my best to help if I got the right color. See the shape of her eye. Kind of outline it. Not going to be a whole lot of detail on this eye, at least. I don't think I'm going to, because it's very small. Just trying to get the shape of it good here. And kind of the outer part, keeping with the darker color, which is the peacock green. And then just going in with the turquoise blue and kind of going over the whole like center of the iris. And then I'll go in later, and probably one of the last things I'll do is touch up like the whites of the eye and do the pupil with black. But I might have to be really close to see exactly where the pupil is, because it's very small and it's hard to, I don't know, some things I just have to get like right up in its business and see what I'm doing. If I don't, I'll make mistakes and they'll look uneven and really weird. But just a little hint of color in those eyes, and I really like that. I think those two colors really work well together. But I think this might be part one of the color along. I don't know, I've been working on this one for months, so I may have intended to do one big video. At least that was my intention at the start, but I've been really busy and haven't had a chance to really work on this, but every great once in a while. So I'm gonna go in and finish doing, like, I'm gonna do this one green as well, and then all the little mushrooms that look similar to the purple ones, I'm going to go ahead and finish those off camera, and then start on part two, which should be finishing up everything, working on the background and the flowers. And this mushroom might be a different color because it looks a little bit different from the others. But anyway, so I know I said that this might be one big color along, and I do want to try to do that because I feel like, you know, for me, the way I watch color alongs is I don't really color along. I just like to see, you know, really the process of start to finish and how other people do different elements of the page. I just really enjoy seeing the process. So I thought it would be nice to have more of a cohesive, you know, video from start to finish without multiple parts, because it's easier to, you know, just see it if it's all in one video. But the problem is they become very long, so I don't know. It's gonna be some figuring out to do. But I probably babbled long enough at the end of this one, but this is gonna be the end of part one, and I'm gonna work on part two and hopefully have this out to y'all by the end of July is what I'm hoping for. So anyway, if y'all made it this far, thank you, and I'm just having a lot of fun with this page. It's turning out great. I love anything by this artist. Her Zan Von Zed, her coloring books are just so fun to me because I just find it's fun to use different types of color combinations and very interesting stuff, you know, so it's one of my favorites. So I'm always excited to color in this book, and I hope to finish this. But thank y'all so much for watching, and until the next video, bye y'all.